Emily, a tenacious journalist with a knack for uncovering hidden stories, had embarked on a journey across the United States in search of the most picturesque and quaint towns for an upcoming article. Her journey led her to a place that seemed almost too perfect to be real. A town hidden away from the world, nestled in the heart of a lush valley. The town, Serenity Falls, appeared like a postcard come to life during the day. Its cobblestone streets were lined with charming cottages adorned with vibrant flowers, and the locals greeted Emily with warm smiles. As Emily wandered through its cobblestone streets, taking in the sights and atmosphere and visiting the town's quaint shops, she decided to check into a cozy hotel, needing a place to stay for a few days to gather more research on the town. After checking in, she enjoyed a leisurely meal at a nearby cafe and then decided to head back to her hotel to settle in for the night. She carefully unpacked her travel-weary belongings, placing them neatly on the room's rustic wooden furniture. The room had an inviting charm, adorned with lace curtains that billowed gently in the evening breeze. As she prepared to settle in for the night, Emily noticed there was only one blanket on the neatly made bed. The evening air carried a chill, and she knew she'd need an extra layer to keep warm. So she slowly made her way to the front desk of the hotel, her footsteps echoing softly in the empty corridor. Approaching the front desk, she expected to find a friendly staff member who could provide her with an extra blanket. The desk stood unattended, and the lobby was eerily silent. Emily's face turned to confusion as she scanned the dimly lit room, searching for any sign of life. Her voice broke the silence as she called out, "Hello? Is anyone here?" But her words seemed to dissolve into the stillness, unanswered. Feeling a growing sense of unease, Emily decided to explore further, making her way through the lobby, hoping to stumble upon someone, anyone, who could help her. Her quest for assistance yielded no results. The hotel, once filled with the promise of warmth and hospitality, now stood empty and lifeless. The only sounds she heard were those of her footsteps that echoed off the walls, creating an eerie symphony of solitude. An unsettling realization settled in as she pushed open the hotel's heavy wooden doors and ventured out onto the quiet streets of Serenity Falls. The moon hung low in the sky, casting a faint glow upon the cobblestone streets and charming cottages, but with an absence, an unsettling void where the town's residents should have been. Confused by the eerie emptiness of the once thriving town, Emily retraced her steps back to the charming cafe, where she had enjoyed a meal earlier in the day. The same lace curtains that had swayed gently in the afternoon breeze now hung still, and the cozy tables were left untouched. She called out to the cafe's absent staff, but her voice echoed in the silent space, unanswered. Her curiosity pushed her further, and she ventured into a couple of the other quaint shops she had visited earlier, their cheerful facades still brightly lit. To her surprise, the shelves were stocked and the wares were meticulously arranged, yet no one was present to attend to customers. The sun had long set, casting the town into darkness. But it was only 6 p.m., an hour when shops should still have some sort of activity, she thought to herself. A chill crept down Emily's spine as she pondered the inexplicable absence of the townsfolk. Something profoundly unsettling was at play in Serenity Falls, a mystery that defied the boundaries of time and reason. Emily walked further, her footsteps echoing through the empty streets. Her heart raced, and a sense of isolation enveloped her like a shroud. The quaint town, once teeming with life, now seemed to exist solely for her. There were no welcoming faces, no friendly greetings, just the unsettling stillness of an abandoned world. As Emily's unease grew, she decided that the best thing to do was to just leave. So she rushed back to her room and gathered her belongings as quickly as she could. As she fumbled with her duffel bag, her heart sank. The small inner pouch where she always kept her car keys was empty. Panic threatened to overwhelm her as she frantically searched every nook and cranny, but the keys were nowhere to be found. With frustration and desperation mounting, Emily reached for her cell phone to contact her coworker, Fred, who was just a few hours away. As she attempted to dial, her hopes were dashed, as there was no signal. This also struck her as odd. Earlier in the day, she had full bars and had effortlessly made calls and sent texts. Now, in her time of need, the device offered no connection to the outside world. A sinking feeling settled in as she realized that all communication had been mysteriously severed, leaving her alone and isolated. As she was thinking about what to do next, she was looking around the room and her eyes caught a peculiar detail that sent a shiver down her spine. On the wooden desk was a note that had certainly not been there before. Its presence was unsettling, like an ominous whisper in the stillness of the night. With cautious steps, Emily approached the desk and picked up the note, her fingers trembling slightly as they brushed against the crinkled paper. The writing was hurried, almost frantic, scrawled in ink that seemed unusually dark. As she began to read the note, her heart quickened with each word. Dear Emily, welcome to our little game. You may have noticed that things are not as they seem in Serenity Falls. Your task is simple. Survive until sunrise. Remember, we can be anywhere, and we are always watching. Good luck. After reading the terrifying note, Emily's instinct screamed at her to escape the town, to flee before the ominous game could begin. The thought of being hunted in a twisted game was a chilling prospect she desperately wished to avoid. Yet the realization that attempting to leave might trigger the sick contest to start left her with an agonizing dilemma, torn between survival and a nightmarish fate. After thinking about the options, she knew that she had no choice. If she was going to escape, she had to make a run for it. And that meant playing the game. As Emily embarked on the nightmarish game of cat and mouse through the twisted streets, she relied on every ounce of her wit and cunning to evade her malevolent pursuers. The town had become a maze, each corner hiding a lurking threat, each alleyway a potential trap. The minutes passed like an eternity as Emily navigated the perilous terrain, her heart pounding with each step. She couldn't help but wonder if there was a way out of this gruesome ordeal, a strategy that might turn the tide in her favor. But as the night wore on, the odds stacked against her. The hunters were relentless, their evil glee unmistakable in the cold night air. They toyed with her, driving her deeper into the heart of the darkness. Eventually, exhaustion overcame her. Emily's breath came in ragged gasps, her steps faltering as she stumbled through the night. She knew that her chances of survival were dwindling. In a heart-wrenching moment of despair, Emily found herself cornered in a shadowy alley, surrounded by the townspeople who had revealed their true, malevolent nature. Their grinning faces, twisted with pleasure, closed in on her. Emily's scream pierced the night, but was abruptly silenced. The sun rose on Serenity Falls, its tranquil facade belying the horrors that had unfolded in the depths of the night. The townspeople returned to their facade of friendly hospitality, as if the gruesome events of the previous night had never occurred. The true nature of Serenity Falls remained hidden, a sinister secret that only the malevolent inhabitants knew. Emily's disappearance became just another mystery in the town's long history of vanished outsiders, a chilling tale that would be whispered about for generations to come.